Hello and welcome back to another session of serde-yaml. It's Byron speaking, and in the previous session we have basically finalized our first PR, which involved some documentation about our build system, about the details about our build system, and how we are able to generate all the values we are interested in terms of data structures and the respective strings here that we want to compare to. So right now it's the goal to, where is it? Actually, that's the source code. To basically make these strings match. So on the left-hand side, we have this, but we want this. So that's kind of what a actual YAML implementation produces when a similar data structure is passed. It might be worth noting that the that the fields here are ordered, not ordered by alphabet, but ordered by the natural order that we present when adding them to the ordered dictionary. And this is how that looks like then. So we can actually compare this without being afraid that at some point the order will be messed up. So first thing I would like to do is to get rid of these parentheses here. Just to see. Just to get a bit closer. So the problem is that this is handled as the struct is handled as a named map. The name right now makes no difference to it. It doesn't matter. Not at all. However, the nesting level should matter to us, because that's kind of the first level of nesting, and here we basically just don't want to have these parentheses. And visit map, I think this is the one that does that. And here we would have to count invocations, because I think that goes into recursion, does it? So if you look at the fixed rs, which is in the structs module. So that's the one that we actually pull in, and it's just fixed because we fixed the derive statements here, which kind of come out wrong and don't work for us anymore. So that is how that goes. So let's see if we would, or how the calls are made. Visit named map. Okay, that's just called once. And here, when we are dealing with the hash, what happens? And it says visit map element, even though that is actually a hash. How does that work? I guess it just called serialize on that particular one, which then should call visit map, I guess. Yeah, so the serialize for a B-tree map, this is the implementation that gets called here. That's the point. So this serialize implementation just calls visit map. So that's where we see the recursion here. So we could start counting recursion levels of the map. Tree depths maybe could be something. And because it's solely a function, well, it's the question, is it a function of the formatter or is it a function of the serializer? And I have the tendency to make it a function of the serializer because the formatter shouldn't, well, the formatter could actually do that. Wait a moment. Because technically, this is valid YAML. We can read this. Because it's valid JSON, and valid JSON is valid YAML. That's kind of the idea here. So yes, this makes it a function of the formatter. This means if I want to count a nesting level, I have to do it here. in theory. So also the question is colon open. So the open part, I think the open map or something. This is just open should be called here. Should it? Is it map element, enum map, visit map? Okay, so open is called basically for a map, right? Question is it called for anything else as well? Because to us, it should only ever be called for a map. So it's called for a map, and it's also called for a list. Good. So how does a list look like? I would want to know that, to be honest. What if we have a top level list here that we want to write instead of a dictionary? Yeah, probably I should just take this one here. So that is list one default. It's just a list of things. Let's do it like that. Yeah. String and a number and a float. What about that? So this is what we want to serialize. How does that look like? I have no clue. So make test should rebuild what we have to rebuild and run the tests. So here in serde-data, this should now show up. Oh, that's interesting. So it adds a new line at the end of the file. That's what we see here. So that's how that looks like. Okay. It only dumps it as a standard list. And I think for lists, you know what? I think I want to have open map and open sequence or something so that I can differentiate more easily. And then we also don't have to specify the items anymore. Visit enum unit. Yeah, so that seems to be handled as a hash map as well, kind of. Even though I would have to try that, to be honest, I'm not quite sure how this would actually come out. So yeah, can I make him spit out a more human-friendly format as well? Like, would it also work if it would be something like this, and that, and that? I think it should be working like this. But yeah, let's see what kind of options we have for YAML dump. PyYAML.org. Show me what you can do. I could probably look it up in code as well. Where is the help and guide? That's all the track related stuff, huh? Okay, it's YAML 1.1 only. Interesting. Well, it's good enough for me. Right now I don't even support YAML 0 after all. Let's see. Let's see what we can do here. So does this link to itself? I don't like that kind of stuff. Where's the documentation? Quick example. See documentation for loading multiple documents. Here. All right. All in track. What about Sphinx or make docs or read the docs anyway? Sphinx would be a good thing. So anything about dump here? Show me. Default flow style. Okay. So what do we have here? Where do I see the available options, man? Just a full listing of that. Default flow style. false. If you want collections to be always serialized in block style. So I think default flow style should be false here, huh? Then. So I guess I don't need, I think, not right now. Serialized data, where's the Python file? Here it is. So you might want to accept additional keyword arguments here and then provide them to the dumper. So for now I can just affect this one specifically and see if it now spits out a more human readable form. Sir data. Okay, so that kind of was what I expected. Default flow style. So now it gets interesting, because is this something specific, or is there a term flow style? Ah, look at that. There is a flow style here. YAML flow styles can be thought of as a natural extension of JSON to cover folding long content lines or readability, tagging nodes to control construction of native data structures, and using anchors and aliases to reuse constructed object instances. Okay, I see. Wow, look at that. And this is something I would have to support. Amazing. Empty nodes. Yeah, this is something that might be difficult, because we don't provide, or visit map element. Wait a second. Visit map element. That gives me a cool. So I can decide in advance if I want to output this one or not. That's awesome. So it is easily possible to skip null keys here. Null values. Unfortunately, I do not know if the value is actually null here, so I would have to check on the serialized value. Huh. Empty nodes. All right. Sometimes displayed as the glyph. Oh, look at that, a special null value glyph. Really? Responds to a position in the character stream rather than the actual character. All right. The more I read about it, the more afraid I am. Because if you want to do it right, I guess you have to deal with quite a lot of stuff. Okay, so that's a different flow style here. And I wonder what happens if I output the first structure in a different flow style. What do you say here? Show me. So that looks very similar. That's a good thing. Cool. That doesn't make a difference. So yeah. Yeah, if this is false, use block style for lists. Dicts. In any case. So where's the respective feature here in flow styles? How does that, to which kind of feature does that correspond? Flow style. Double quoted lines, single quoted. Where's the block plain style? Probably have to learn how to read this, huh? Legend, n is plain first. Not n is plain first, n is plain char. So it seems like lots of enumerations want to be used here. Wow, it's amazing. So I think the serializer will already be quite complex, man. Flow collection styles. Flow collection, is that maybe what I was looking for? 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. A flow connection may be nested within a block collection, nested within another flow collection, or be part of an implicit flow key, implicit key, flow key context, or block key context. Flow collections entries are terminated by the indicator. The final comma might be omitted. This does not cause ambiguity because flow collection entries can never be completely empty. Yeah, I guess this is probably what I want to read first before I can skip ahead to the flow styles. Well, okay. Let's start with the nesting level, shall we? So 2 things I kind of, before I dig in and lose myself in this massive document, which I guess at some point I will have to understand completely. Flow mappings. And how to use this in the serde-yaml world. Man, they don't even provide a full API documentation, do they? Default flow style. Where is this default style? Where is this documented? Kinda here, huh? That's the one. Dump. So default style, default flow style, explicit start, explicit end. Tags, canonical, indent, width, allow Unicode, line break. All right, so the line break character can be specified. Probably a lot of stuff can be specified here. Do we have an explicit line break character here? We do. Line break. So let's have a, let's start with something simple. Yeah, and this escaping we have to check anyway. At some point. Oh, so it writes this write all stuff. This is really expensive. Will cause a lot of code to be put there if this is also inline, which might actually be. But I think there's in the standard libraries there's no inline always anymore. It's all it's all decided by the optimizer now. Well. Yeah, so fn open. I would like to have an open map and an open sequence. So the character, the thing is, does it matter? Is this important? I mean, I know that my open implementation should know if it's a sequence or not. But how does it correspond? How does it correspond to whether or not I want to put parentheses around that one? Because I should be able to serialize this in a way that makes it look like JSON as well. So how would I do that here? Let's see what we have. Allow Unicode, line breaks, tags, version, explicit start. Explicit start. That's the YAML document, the explicit start there. An explicit end. It's not documented anywhere. Awesome. This documentation, it kind of is incomplete. I don't want to say it sucks, it's a strong word. And I don't know that yet, but it seems to be incomplete here. And I think this is passed, yeah, this just passed on to the actual serializer. So, well, encoding, default flow style, none. So it's unset, right? And what if I say true here? What happens? So unset is that. What happens if I say true? False, I tried already. That didn't make any difference. Default flow style true. Now it looks a bit more like JSON. But how do I make it look like JSON entirely? Default style. Default style was used. And then you get this thing. Is there some documentation on what it really does? Because, yeah. Canonical, true. Well. Default flow style, false. Yeah, that's something I know already. Oh, I even have a width for the entire document. That's amazing. I don't necessarily want to support that. But I would like to make it look like JSON if possible. This is something I find important. If we can parse it, we should also be able to configure the serializer to write it, even though I don't know really what's necessary there to achieve this properly. In theory, I should be able to configure this Python implementation to do just that. But right now, I am unsure because I would have to make sure that the keys are actually enclosed as well. So let's try that. Let's just do this here. Probably looks weird then. Default style. Maybe I don't need that anymore. Nor this. Let's put it here. Yeah. So that kind of prepends the actual type of the thing, of the entry. Oh, look. But this is kind of close to JSON, even though that wouldn't be JSON here. So that is that. I think canonical might do the same thing, huh? Except for not enclosing the keys in. Oh, wow. So that's kind of YAML 1.1 special syntax. That kind of means the key is a string with called i32, and the value is an int with the string none. So that's the kind of stuff I need to be able to parse as well. But yeah, well, it's close. So default style, what if it's an empty string? Does that make any sense even? Okay. So only for the keys I want it. I guess that's as good as having none here. Yeah, right now I'm just trying out a few things. Interesting. I'm not sure if this is valid then. Probably it is. Yeah, I think you want to have a way to specify how strings are serialized, right? I don't know if that is part of the flow style thing or not. Well, that's already a start anyway. So let's look back at this. Do I want to open this manually? I do it in the enum sequence, enum map, enum unit, and in the map, of course. Yeah, does it make any difference if it's a map nesting level? I mean, that was the original intent here, huh? We have to track nesting levels. So that I can just leave out the first pair of parentheses, which I probably, yeah. So in case of a list, depending on the block style, I would also leave it out. I think the main problem I have is that I don't know how to specify this, what kind of flags I want to have here in order to switch behavior, because that's highly dependent on what we want. In theory, I should be able to just keep the output that, or generate the output that we have here, because that is valid YAML after all. And that's kind of my main intention here. And I would like to do it within the confines or within the terminology of the YAML document. I don't want to make up new names for everything. But this kind of requires knowledge that I right now simply do not have. Yeah. Yeah, this was a nice test here, but not needed in a way. In a way, I'm not sure if the you know what I could do is I could output JSON and could output this guy as an ordered dict in JSON. Let's see how that would look like. And then I can have both versions. So this will just be the normal YAML version. That is something we cannot currently produce, which is this. But on the other hand, I want to output normal JSON stuff. So, oops, let's call that data1, like this. Data1, do. And this will, oh, no, I have to use JSON manually, but I think it's okay. JSON should be available by default, I thought, or simple JSON or something. Let's try it. And then it's JSON, what is it? Let's try this Python interpreter. Pyenv bin Python import JSON. See JSON, we have JSON. Oh, also dump. Nice. Do we have some sort of pretty printing version of it? No. Well, let's just, yeah, write constant string rs. I guess under these circumstances, I wanna put the data in directly. Let's do it. If I now want to write JSON as well, this interface is not suited anymore. So that's our data. It's supposed to be a string. And now we will do the dumping ourselves. So that's the JSON version, the YAML version, and that's the JSON version. And both should be fine. Data 1, default JSON. So that should parse as YAML. But I don't know how to configure this YAML serializer. And I think in that regard, I want to be better than the Python implementation. I want to be able to specify exactly how that should be. And not just part of it or half of it, no way. So let's see how that goes. Make test, oops. Takes 2 arguments. Oh, that is different. It probably takes... Which one is it? And which line? That's the JSON one. Probably takes this std out here. Actually, no. We want to put it into a string. Is it? Oh, dump s. That's what we want. It's interesting. It seems that dump by default dumps it into a string for YAML. Default flow style. Really? Ah, here. That's the one I didn't adjust. That guy here. YAML dump. And that is that. So now it should work again. And yeah, now I just have to configure this JSON dude to be a bit more human readable, because this is what I want for my tests. Line separator I might want to specify. Or maybe there's some sort of pretty flag. Is there a pretty flag? Let's just try it. Pretty is true. Yeah. Is there something like it? No. Python JSON dump. Show me what you can do. Sort keys. Oh yeah, what's the sorting doing? Oh. Indent 4. I think indent 4, huh? That's what I want. Indent or 2. Let's use 2. Yeah, so that's the JSON one. Looks good. And now I need a way to configure my YAML parser to produce that and also to produce that. So that's the question. I would want to find, this default flow thing, it just tells you nothing. I would want to find a combination of flags that cannot be going wrong, that is always correct. So what about the block style here? I think it's something around the... Yeah, first of all, do we want to... What kind of nesting levels? That's the first question I asked to myself when starting the session. What is the open and close calls that we want to count here? What is it? The problem is I have to know if it's a map or anything else. So I could encode this here. I could pass in some enum flag maybe, which probably is what I want here. So we can count whatever nesting level we are in. Yeah, but we only care about the first one, huh? Because the first one we can leave out. And also only if it's a map, and that's a thing. That's how it seems. What's the rules here? There must be something about the serialization rules for this. Obviously, this is how it is. I can observe that, but how is this written? YAML blocks, collections, so that's a block. Use indentation for scope, okay, and begin each entry on its own line. Block sentences, indicate each entry with a dash and space. Sequences, sorry, not sentences. Mappings use colon and space to mark each key value pair. Comments begin, okay, so I got that. YAML also has flow styles using explicit indicators rather than indentation to denote scope. The flow sequence is written as a comma-separated list within square brackets. In a similar manner, the flow mapping uses curly braces. Okay. So yeah, I've been here. So they should name the flow styles, huh? So what's... So that's for scalar values. How do you flow blocks? I've been here, and obviously last time I've been here I didn't find what I was searching for. Single quoted lines, plain style. Has no identifying indicators and provides no form of escaping. It is therefore the most readable and most limited and most context-sensitive style. In addition to a restricted character set, a plain scalar must not be empty or contain leading or trailing white space characters. It is only possible to break a long line where a space character is surrounded by non-spaces. Planar scalars must not begin. And I think that's the grammar here in extended Bakar-Nor form or something. I guess. I would hope so. I think so. NSCHAR. Yeah, so this is what the lexer will then have to do. Yeah. I might also have a look at the... Yeah, but that's not what we do now. Right now, it's really just serialization. I have the feeling that doing something as simple as this already requires me to understand more than I currently do. We are just talking about the way to use flow styles here. So back to flow styles, please. Implicit block key. Yeah, it would be great to see kind of a real YAML document. It's nice that this is linked. Even though right now I have no idea how to read this properly. How is parsing to depend on surrounding text? For notational compactness, this dependency is expressed using parameterized B and F productions. The context sensitivity is the cause of most of the complexity of the YAML syntax definition. It is further complicated by struggling with the human tendency to look ahead when interpreting text. These complications are, of course, the source of most of YAML's power to present data in a very human-readable way. Yeah, awesome. I think once I've done this, I can do it. Then I kind of have understood not only YAML, but also how lexers and parser interact in most complex ways. Probably. Indentation, N or M. Indentation level parameter, context. This parameter allows productions to tweak their behavior according to their surrounding. YAML supports two groups of context, distinguishing between blocks styles and flow styles. Okay, I think this is really what I want to understand here. In block styles, indentation is used to delineate structure. To capture human perception of indentation, the rules require special treatment of the dash character used in block sequences. Hence, in some cases, productions need to behave differently inside block sequences. Block in. Okay, so this means we are inside of a block, and outside of them, block out context. Okay, so that's a block style here that I see. That says if I need curly braces or not, if I need brackets or not. In flow styles, explicit indicators are used to delineate structure. These styles can be viewed as natural extension of JSON to cover tagged, single-quoted, and plain scalars. Since the latter have no delineating indicators, they are subject to some restriction to avoid ambiguities. These restrictions depend on where they appear as implicit keys directly inside a block mapping, a block key, or as implicit keys inside a flow mapping, as values inside a flow connection, or values outside a flow connection. Flow out. Oh man, I have no idea what that flow stuff means, to be honest. Not from reading this. Blocks, I think I got. Let's see, if I click here, where do I get? Provides two block scalar styles, literal and folded. Each provides a different trade-off between readability and... Okay, so let's have a block scalar style. Let's do this. Let's have it right away, even though I probably don't use it right away. So pub anim block style. Scalar and folded. Block scalar style, that is. Folded. All right. Oh man. I was hoping the Python implementation could help me, but it seems from judging from their interface, they didn't really care about lots of this YAML document here. Or they used a different one, which might not have been that explicit about these things yet. Block scalar headers. Block scalars are controlled by few indicators given in a header preceding the content itself. The header is followed by a non-content line break with an optional comment. This is only the case where a comment must not be followed by additional comment lines. Okay, so that's how you define, how you configure this YAML file, apparently. Empty header. Indentation indicator. Okay, so this is how you can configure your YAML file. Chomping indicator. Jesus Christ. Both indicators. I think that's also a way to have line breaks here. Okay. Block, that's a block header. Block scalar header. So we have literal, folded, I don't know. Employ indentation rather than indicators to denote structure. Yes, this results in human readable but less context notation. Okay. YAML provides two block scalar styles, literal and folded. Each provides a different, okay. So I guess, I mean, what's this here? Literal and folded, okay, that's a block scalar style. But keep and strip. And why is it dot strip and why is it just keep here? What's this? Maybe it's, yeah, I totally don't know. Invalid block scalar indentation indicators. Leading all space line must not have too many spaces. Following text line must not be less indented. Oh, frag. The text is less indented than the indentation level. Okay, so that's how to specify an indentation level or what? How do I know that? So I guess I can't just jump there. I have to read it from the start. I guess the only thing I can do here is to read it all first. Flow collection styles. Yeah, I guess I want to do this. Yeah. Damn it. I'm not sure about it. I will not make a commit here. I can't really. Because right now I don't understand how this works. And without an understanding, it doesn't work. Line folding. Yeah. Yeah. Where did I read information about the block styles for the first time? Block. Here. Using a literal style indicated by that, where all line breaks are significant. Alternatively, can be written in folded style. Okay, scalar content. So that's block scalar style. So that's still scalar and folded, right? That's it. Folded new lines are preserved for more indented and blank lines. Yeah. Huh. Will be interesting to see how that works, but that's more interesting. Yeah. So I guess this is kind of the documentation that I want to have here. Oops. Let's have at least one line break, shall we? Scalar content can be written in block notation using a literal style indicated by where all line breaks are significant. Alternatively, they can be written with folded style denoted by. Okay, then I would actually like to link to this particular piece of information. Yeah, so let's link here. Just not to forget this, because I have to kind of build my own documentation as I get along so that I don't forget what this is myself. I need to stick to the terminology of this document in order to make this work for me. Otherwise I would probably just get confused and mess things up. Flow content. Flow nodes. Flow JSON content, flow YAML content. Oh ho, JSON like flow styles all have explicit start and end indicators. The only flow styles that does not have this property is the plain scalar. Plain scalar. What's a plain scalar? Note that none of the JSON-like styles is actually acceptable by JSON. Even the double quoted style is a superset of the JSON string format. Really? I thought it would be valid JSON. I thought so. I think it is. Maybe they mean something else here. I don't know. So flow nodes. Is this an official term here? So N is flow YAML content. So this is this parameterized Bucker null form, right? So we have N as a indentation level and the context. And that's the JSON flow. Interesting. For scalars? Yeah. Single pair flow mappings. It's weird that in a sequence there's exactly one dict then. A more compact notation is usable inside flow sequences if the mapping contains a single key value pair. This notation does not require the surrounding bracket characters. Note that it is not possible to specify any node properties for the mapping in this case. So there's just a special single pair flow mapping here. All right. I'm still, not to forget, I'm still trying to figure out what this is. So block scalar style is not what I'm looking for. It's mostly the flow style, right? Block style. Is it block style as well? No, that I think is more of the string scalar style. Literal style. Block collection style. For readability, block collection styles are not denoted by any indicator. Instead, YAML uses a look-ahead method where block collection is distinguished from a plain scalar only when a key value pair or sequence entry is seen. Block sequence. I'm not sure how to read that. That's a block sequence, yes. But why does it need to be inside of a mapping like this? And that's the kind of long form that works with YAML 1.2. Okay. So that's kind of, quite readable actually, but I don't know what this has to do with the fact that we are seeing a block sequence here. Auto-detected as indent. What? The entry node may be either completely empty, be a nested block, or use a complex inline notation. Jesus. Boah. A block mapping is a series of entries, each presenting a key value pair. Well. Come on. Yeah, it's kind of a first time for me to try to implement something by a spec. And I think it's one of the better written, more understandable specs. If you look at something like a C compiler spec or something, or C++ spec, then, it's probably super difficult. You have to study this. And I'd consider this simple compared to that. I still need to understand how to read that. YAML allows flow nodes to be embedded. Okay, now we are with the... Yeah, I have no idea. I want to see how this is supposed to be specified. What terms do they use? I've read something about JSON style. JSON stuff. Flow mappings, I don't know. How's that supposed to be stated here? The cool thing is, once I have figured out some options that make JSON style YAMLs, I can have a default or an option that says standard options JSON or something, and produces the standard JSON options. Then that the user can also modify afterwards. Yeah. So that's implicit null here. Explicit typing is denoted with a tag using the exclamation mark. Yeah. So the question is if YAML can also deal with the explicit null here. That can be quite prevalent in JSON documents. Let's see. Look at that, JSON tag resolution. The JSON schema tag resolution is an extension of the failsafe schema tag resolution. All nodes with the non-specific tag are resolved by the standard convention. Blah, 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 according to their kind. Resolve to tag. So the tag is kind of the type, huh? Yeah, apparently. Okay. And this is valid YAML 1.2 here. And that's, I think, the end of document marker, huh? Yeah. I don't know how to specify that. How to specify a schema just yet. And it's also at the end of the document here. None of the above recommended schemas prelude the use of arbitrary explicit tags. Hence, YAML processes for a particular programming language typically provide some form of local tags that map directly to the language native data structures. I see. So Ruby and stuff. While such local tags are useful for ad hoc applications, they do not suffice for stable, interoperable cross-application or cross-platform data exchange. Interoperable schemas make use of global tags, URIs, that represent the same data across different programming languages. So that's probably the YAML ones. In addition, an interoperable schema may provide additional tag resolution rules. Such rules may provide additional regular expressions, as well as consider the path of the node. This allows interoperable schemas to use untagged nodes. It is strongly recommended that such schemas be passed on the core schema defined above. In addition, it is strongly recommended that such schemas make as much use as possible of the YAML tag repository. This repository provides recommended global tags for increasing the portability of YAML documents between different applications. Yeah, so supporting this, I think, is super important. Sufficiently well. I think most people don't care about that anyway, but it's part of the YAML, right? And now that I'm at it, I think I can do it, or try to do it right, at least. The tag repository is intentionally left out of the scope of the specification. This allows it to evolve to better support YAML applications. Hence, developers are encouraged to submit new universal types to the repository, and so on. Well, That's a preview. All right. I still don't know how the flow styles are supposed to work. Each node is presented in some style depending on its kind. The node style is a presentation detail and is not reflected in the serialization tree or representation graph. There are two groups of styles. Block styles use indentation to denote structure, and context flow styles rely on explicit indicator. So, structure style, huh? That would be it. So it's either block or flow, kind of, huh? YAML provides a rich set of scalar styles. Okay, block scalar style. Scalar folded. Okay, that only works within a block, I see. This style only works within a block structure. So pub enum structure style. So it would be block or flow, huh? So let's put it here. I just keep track of this that way. Oops. Like this. And now the backlink to the official. Let's put it here. Let's leave that. Let's drop the official. Let's just have a simple link back to where I got it from. Oh no. Why is there no link here? Oh. Block styles. There must be some way to link there. Uh-oh. There actually seems to be no way to link there. That's sad. I don't even know where I was anymore. There must be a way to link there. Tags, come on, come on. Here, I think. Here it was. Node styles. 3, 2, 3, 1. 3, 2, 3, 1. So there is this link. Sad that there is no anchor here. Well, that's good enough. Okay. So that kind of explains the block style here. And I guess this is what I was really looking for, the structure style. And I could even go as far and say, well, we have structure styles for mappings and for sequences. Yeah, I think I could very well have that, right? So what about the block styles here? Scalar, block scalar style. Indentation indicator, chomping indicator. Huh. That's just how to specify it in the header, apparently. Oh man. Folded style, yeah. Block collection style. I think this is, yeah, block. That's kind of the sequence structure style. And then we have a mapping. A mappings. Yeah, I think that's how I could do it in the option here. Where are the struct standard formatting options? So we have a sequence structure style, which is a structure style, and a mapping structure style, which is a structure style. And this is how it should be possible to implement this correctly. By default, it shall be block, right? So default is just standard YAML. Standard YAML style, as human readable as possible. Yeah, and the schema also plays a role at some point. So we should allow that to kind of be specified at least, or do something with it. But for now, I have no idea about this. So sequence structure style shall be a structures style block, and the mapping structure style is also block mapping. Good, so that is that. I think this is how that can work. And then we should have a block scalar style, which is only used if we use the block structure style and things like that. Uses explicit indicators. Uses indentation to denote structure. So this indent, yeah, I can rename this at some point. I think it should be consistent across the entire document, but I'm not sure if this is required by YAML or not at all. Yeah, so it's already 1:07 and I didn't get too far here. I think I will read the document or kind of dig in deeper and close this here. I'm not really confident I want to commit this because I don't really do anything. So yeah, let's just call this a session. Thanks for watching and have a good day.